This video is brought to you by Ageless Geeks.
Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka Batbomb82, and today I'll be doing a review of the TMNT Ultimates Leonardo from Super7. Now, as you can see, the figure comes in that large-scale box with a standard green slipcover for the heroes with that really cool silver lid with Leonardo's face printed on the top. Removing the slipcover, we can see that the figure is showcased in your standard window box packaging. And turning the box around, we can see that really cool brick motif with a short bio for Leonardo. So if you want to read that bio, go ahead and pause it now. So with the box out of the way, let's crack this figure open and let him breathe. Alright guys, so let's check out this Ultimates Leonardo. And holy crap, man. I had to start off wave 2 here with my boy Leonardo, my favorite Ninja Turtle. The best Ninja Turtle. I don't care what any of you say, Leo's the man. I love this. And this, of course, with these Ultimates TMNT figures, are based on the classic TMNT figures, which is my all-time favorite toy line. And the Vintage Leo figure, which I have, and I'll show you here shortly, is incredible. This is a great, incredible update. I am so freaking happy to have these in my collection, but man, that head sculpt is so perfect. It is a fantastic updated rendition of that vintage figure. I love the harness that we got here, and it's really cool. And I'll try and zoom in here a bit, but you can see like the texture in the straps now, which is really rad. You see even see nicks and scratches like that in his shell, which is really nice. I love the silver detailing of like the buckles and the straps that hold his harness together instead of being a simple black. So I love that updated look. But the musculature looks really nice too. There's a little bit of airbrushing. You can see a little bit of the darkness in there to bring out the skull, which is really nice too. So I love that. You can see his fingernails are actually painted, which is really cool. Great detail on that. The veining all looks really nice. Even like the folding in the skin looks really cool. And like all the crumbling in the pads and little scratches in there too. Again, painted toenails, which I think looks so awesome. Everything about this is fantastic. But I love the shell here. The shell looks so good. Really dig how the depth of that indentation here and then the lining and all that, and see the scratches on his back. Looks really cool. The harness for the swords, where you can actually put in there. And I love how the little studs are painted silver. I tried to see if you could take this off like the vintage one. Looks like it's glued on. I meant to say it is a separate piece, but it doesn't look like it's meant to stay on the figure. But I just love the way this works, man. You can see even on the little straps right there, all that little sculpting detail to give the straps texture really, really works for me, man. So I love that. So anyways, I'm going to bring in my Vintage Leo right here. Now, fun fact, this is actually my toy hood Leonardo figure. This was my very first Ninja Turtle figure I ever had. This was my all-time favorite toy next to that vintage Toy Biz Batman toy. So I've had this one since I was a child, and I wish I could find pictures because I had a bunch of pictures of me holding up this toy pretty much wherever I went. This is one of my all-time favorite toys, and I plan on getting a tattoo of this vintage toy soon. So having this side by side with the Super7 one, man, I am telling you straight up, I get choked up because this really was a childhood dream toy of mine. Again, I still have this at my age now as a grown adult. So seeing this updated Super7 one it makes me so happy. Brings out my inner child. I just love the way this looks, man. But the head sculpt looks great. It's again a really cool update to that vintage head sculpt, which I think is so good, man. But the straps on the back look really nice too, so I love that. But man, again, this is my Vintage Leo figure, one of my all-time favorite toys. And Super7, what a beautiful update. Alright, so now let's check out his accessories here. So first off, I want to start off with his katanas. The katanas look really good, man. They're nice and big, fully painted, which I absolutely love. The nice silver on the blade looks really good, but I love the brown and then the bronzed color to the handles look really, really nice. What I do love is that if you look at the way the harness is back here, the little sheath for the actual swords, it's actually indented like this. So you can see that there is a spacing in there for the different blades. So that way this one can just actually hover over that other blade so they don't actually touch or crisscross or get bent like the vintage figure, because the vintage one had the swords here and you kind of just had to like warp them one over the other. You see what I'm talking about here? This one has that indentation in there so they fit perfectly. So again, I freaking love this, man, and they're so awesome. They just look really cool on him like that, and they do sit a little low, but I noticed you can actually like put them up a little bit and they will stay. So if you want them on your shelf like that where they're more prominent coming out the back like that, you can do something like that, which is really cool. So in the meantime, I'm gonna take these off. You, of course, get all kinds of interchangeable hands. You got gripping hands right here. These more open palm hands. You do got closed-fisted hands, which are really nice. Again, pretty much just everything you're going to need. Different form of closed hands, which is really cool. So these ones right here, I'll show this. I'll pop the sword on like that. Now, these ones actually hinge forward, which is good. So up and down like this, which is really nice. So you can do that if you want to have him like he's pointing the sword, you know what I mean? But we could take this off right here and then take this particular gripping hand like so and then put that on like that. I can get this on here like this on without trying to break anything. I'm trying to, a little tight here. There we go. Here, get the enter button in there. Okay, here we go. So this one, instead of pointing up and down like this one actually comes in and out like that, if you see what I'm saying. So it's pretty cool that you have the options of with a hinge. I think that's pretty genius. More companies need to do that, man, because that's actually really cool. Depending on the type of pose you want to do, the positioning of the hinge like that is really cool. So I really dig that they gave us that option, man, especially this one going up and down so you can point the sword. I think that works great. So very cool. We also get like the standard weapons that we get with pretty much the basic turtle weapons or basic ninja weapons. You got two of the ninja stars right here, the little shurikens like that. You get that fisted bladed weapon like so. I think that one's really cool too. You get the big blade fist one, which is a really gnarly weapon, so I love that. You get that hook sword, which is really cool. These are all the basic ninja weapons that basically all turtles came with, which is really nice. You also do get a closed turtle comm, which I love too. Again, fully painted. I think this looks really cool, but we also do get an open turtle comm like that. Again, fully painted, looking really nice. I just totally dropped it. But the screen is painted, the little red button on there, all looking awesome. We also do get a slice of pizza, which is really cool. That comes with every turtle. So simple pepperoni and cheese pizza. I wish they would just be like really interesting, because like I wish they would give us like a, I don't know, a peanut butter and M&M pizza, because you know how the turtles did some weird stuff like that, you know what I'm talking about, instead of just straight up pepperoni, but I get it. Still really cool that we even got that. What's also really awesome is that we get a full-on weapons rack with all of those weapons basically done in those vintage molded colors. So if you look at like the vintage shirt Leo here, how they were molded in those like brown colors, they pretty much did the same thing with these more modern weapons done on that, in that vintage color. So if you want, you have the option to cut these off this rack and have them displayed like that to make them more, give them more of that vintage feel. And this rack does stand. You can even display the weapons like that, like you could the vintage figure. So it's really cool that we have the option. Me personally, I will be leaving them on this little tree like this, because I want them to display them with this rack just how it is, like so, which is super freaking cool. Oh, so also we get a variant head, which is really rad. So I love this, man. It's really cool getting the vintage toy head and then a more reimagining Ultimates Leonardo head. So you have the option to go vintage toy or a little more updated, slightly realistic, again, Ultimates version of what Leonardo's head would look like. So it's really cool that we get the option, man. So I just think that's really awesome. Simple ball peg, but fantastic, man. Everything that we get, oh my god, I can't even express how happy I am with all of this. All right, so now let's check out his articulation. So head is on a ball joint, rolls around a good amount, you know, rolls around pretty decently. You're going to get a left and right and pivot side to side a little bit. Up and not so much, honestly, down about that far. I did notice it does feel a little loose, a little wobbly. So I hope that's something they do fix. But like if you hold it into a certain position, it's gonna stay. You know what I mean? It's not like super loose and it just falling anywhere. So you can do pretty much anything you want. It's gonna stay in that position. But I notice it is just a little bit loose. Arms and go full 360 like so, up and out that far. Rotation at the bicep, single bend at the elbow like so. Rotation at the wrist as well as a hinge at the wrist, just depending on which hands you have on there. Feels like there is a ball peg. You can see how the hip joint goes into the shell like that. So there's a ball peg in there. You can rotate it like that, crunch back and forth, pivot a little bit. I mean, pretty much do anything you really need to. Nothing crazy dynamic, of course, because of the shell, but still pretty cool that they have that in there. Hip joints that kick up and up forward that far. This whole shell right here is a softer plastic, so it moves out the way. Rotation in the bicep, kicks all the way to the splits all the way like so. Did I say rotation at the bicep? Rotation at the thigh. My bad. A single bend at the knee like so. We also do get rotation at the knee like that. Ankles go up, down, and a very good ankle rocker. So I, again, cannot even begin to express how much I am loving this figure. Again, just based on one of my all-time favorite toys ever. I am so happy with it. I'm so happy with this Ultimates TMNT line. Again, this is probably my dream toy line that I've been thinking about for the past 20 plus years. Now Super7 is giving it to us, and man, they're killing it. And one thing I do like, one issue that I had with Raphael, his legs were a little loose. These feel a lot tighter than that figure, so it feels like they did fix that problem. Again, my only issue is going to be the head's a little wobbly, not crazy terrible, but still, man, this is a great piece, a great action figure, and definitely a must get. So for a quick size comparison, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends Deadpool and McFarlane Batman figure. Also for comparison, here he is standing next to the Vintage Leonardo from Playmates. And for even more comparison, here he is standing next to the movie Leonardo and cartoon Leonardo from NECA. Also for comparison, here he is standing next to the Ultimates Raphael and Splinter, also from Super7. And just for fun, here he is with little Lego Bat Bomb. So there it is, guys, my review of the Ultimates Leonardo. Now man, again, like I've said before, that vintage toy was one of my all-time favorite toys, and Super7 did a great job living up to that hype of my vintage action figure, because I freaking love this piece. It is such a perfect update with great sculpt, great paint, all those awesome accessories and interchangeable parts just make for one badass Ninja Turtle. Leo is my favorite turtle, and again, in my opinion, the best turtle, and in my opinion, this is one of the best action figures that I've ever owned. So please, if you can, pick up this figure and all the Ultimates, because they are totally rad and totally a must get. So please comment, like, and subscribe. Stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.